Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and this is part 2 of chapter Yoga. Today we will be discussing about the elements of yoga in details. Now, according to Patanjali, there are 8 elements of yoga in Yoga Sutra. As Maharishi Patanjali had described 8 elements of yoga in Yoga Sutra, so we discuss about these 8 elements of yoga. These are called 8 whole paths or 8 steps. Basically, these two are other names for the 8 elements of yoga. And through these 8 steps or 8 elements, we can achieve the ultimate goal of yoga. And what is the ultimate goal of yoga? It is the union of our soul with the Supreme Soul. So, this is the goal of yoga, that to unite the human soul or our soul with the Supreme Soul or the Divine Soul. Now, why do we need these elements of yoga, or what is the importance of them? Basically, practice of each element of yoga is important for attaining this goal of yoga, that is the union of our soul with the Supreme Soul. If we want to achieve this goal of yoga, then we need to practice each element. And when we get proficient in one element, means if we are perfect in one element, then we can proceed to the next element also. So, what are those 8 elements? Those are Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Yam. Yam is the first element of yoga, and by its practice, we can stay away from violence. According to Maharishi Patanjali, there are 5 yam, or we can say that yam consists of 5 moral codes of conduct. So what are basically these? These are basically ahimsa, satya, astya, brahmacharya and aparigraha. Ahimsa means non-violence, means we should not do violence or we should not do harm to anyone. This is known as ahimsa. Satya means we should be truthful. That means we should not tell lie to anyone at any cost, and we should speak the truth in all situations at all times. Astya is the Hindi form of stealing. And what is stealing? The tendency to use others' objects, money or thoughts for our own benefits is stealing. That means if we are using others' objects or others' ideas or others' money for our own benefit so that we are benefited from it, then it is known as stealing. We should not even think about it, and we should also not motivate others to steal. Instead, we should be satisfied with what we are having, what God has given us. Now, Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, basically we can understand its meaning by 2 words, Brahman and Charya. Brahman means the divine or ultimate. Charya means the path. Brahmacharya. So, what we conclude? We conclude that Brahmacharya is the divine path or the ultimate path which we should follow, and we should not follow our desire. We should follow the divine path. Now, aparigraha. Aparigraha means to lead a life with minimum requirements. We know that in today's life, we all are having many unnecessary things which are not even required. So we should lead our life with minimum possible requirements. Niyam. Niyam is the second element of yoga. Its plural form is niyams. So basically, niyams are related to individual body and senses, means they are related to the body and its senses. They are also ethical practices as yams. As we know, yams are ethical practices. Similarly, niyams are also ethical practices. Now there are 5 yams as we are going to discuss now. First is Soch. Soch means purity. Purity means we should be clean physically as well as mentally. Not only physical cleaning is important, but also mental purity is also important for all. And we know that we have already discussed that for the purity of internal organs or the internal physically purity we can achieve by doing Shat Karmas or the 6 Shuddhi Kriyas in yoga. Now, Santosh. Santosh means contentment. Contentment is the feeling of satisfaction when we are satisfied with what we are having. Means we should be satisfied with what God has given us. We should be satisfied with what we are having, and we should not run after desires for having more and more things. We should be satisfied with what we are having. Now, third is Tap. Tap is basically the hard work that we do to achieve our goal. And we know that in achieving our goal, we have to face many difficulties, tackle many problems, and handle all the complex situations that come in our life. So, for attaining or for achieving our goal, we need to endure these difficulties, obstacles, and complex situations easily. Why? To achieve our goal. And this is called Tap. Also, in Tap, we should deal with pressure, pain, loss, and gain, both in the similar way, in the same spirit. Now, fourth niyam is Swadhyay. Swadhyay, basically we study Swadhyay under 2 types of studies. The first one is related to the study of great Veds, Granths, Upanishads, Yoga Darshan, and Gita with devotion. Means for achieving Swadhyay, we have to study the great Vedas, Granth, Upanishads, Yoga Darshan, and Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, with devotion. We should read them devotingly. Now, the second one is the study of self. Means we should be aware of ourselves, that who are we, what we have to do, what is the aim of our life. This is known as the study of self. And when we do both kinds of study, then it is known as Swadhyay. Now, fifth is Ishwar Prani Dhan. Basically, what is Ishwar Prani Dhan? It is to dedicate all the deeds to God. Means whatever good work we have done or whatever we are having in our life, if we dedicate all those things, all our good works to God, it is known as Ishwar Prani Dhan. And in this stage, a true devotee, the devotee who is truly devoted to the God, he thinks that whatever he has in his or her life is only due to God's grace, because God has given him or her those things. He or she surrenders to God and removes impurities from his or her mind. Means at this stage, Ishwar Prani Dhan stage, the person surrenders to God and removes all kinds of impurities, which are like vanity, ego, pride. All these impurities are removed from the mind, and the person surrenders to the God. Asana. This is the next element of yoga, and asana means position or posture of body. Position or posture of our body is known as asana, or it also means to sit in easy posture. Means if we are sitting in a posture which is appropriate for us, then it is known as asana. Asana is a step towards yoga. Now, as we have already discussed in the importance of yoga, that we can correct postural deformities or our posture, our body posture by performing yoga, doing yoga. So basically asanas correct our posture. So yoga is beneficial for us. We have already discussed about that. And here is why is yoga beneficial for correcting our postures, because we perform asanas in yoga which correct our body posture, and asanas are performed to keep the body flexible, agile and young. And also by doing asanas we can improve our body fitness because extra fat is not accumulated in our body. Various types of asanas are mentioned here. These are corrective asanas, relaxative asanas, meditative asanas. These are the three types of asanas that we should perform, and these all have different effects on our body. Asanas can be performed from young age to old age without any problem. That means whether it be a child or whether it be any adult, anyone can perform asana without any problem. Pranayam. Pranayam, next element of yoga. So basically pranayam is the control of process of breathing. Means when we have the control over the process of breathing, then it is known as pranayam. It is basically a form of yoga that we also do in our daily life. It means the appropriate control over inhalation and exhalation. Means if we are having appropriate or the enough control over inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means taking in air and exhalation means breathing out air. So if we are having appropriate control on them, then it is known as pranayam. Now there are three constituents of pranayam. These are Purak, Kumbhak, Rechak. Basically Purak means inhalation. Kumbhak means retaining the breath, means how long we can hold our breath, and exhalation means breathing out the air. So there are three components or constituents of pranayam. There are various types of pranayam such as Ujjayi, Surya Bhedi, Sheetkari. These are the various types of pranayam that we will discuss later on. Pranayam helps in regulating the metabolic activities, enhances the functions of heart and lungs, and provides longevity of life. So basically here the benefits of doing pranayam are mentioned, that if we do pranayam, our metabolic activities will be regulated and the function of our heart and lungs are also enhanced, and also our life is increased, longevity of life is increased. Pratyahar. Basically it is the next element of yoga in which we have a self-control on ourselves and we are able to control our senses. We are able to exercise control over our senses. This is known as Pratyahar. To control the mind and senses is called Pratyahar. Means if we are having a proper control over our mind and senses, that stage is known as Pratyahar. The senses no longer respond to the external objects that hinder mental concentration. Means when we have proper control over our mind, when we are in the stage of Pratyahar, then we are no longer distracted by those objects which distract us mentally or distract our mental concentration. One who practices Pratyahar starts feeling extreme pleasure in remembering God. Means if we are practicing it, then we will feel extreme pleasure, extremely good in remembering God. Dharana. It is the concentration of mind. means when our mind can concentrate properly, then it is known as the stage of dharana. Generally, the mind has a tendency to get scattered, means we are attracted, or you can say disattracted, by a lot of things present in this world. But if we are able to bring our scattered mind under control and we can set it to one common point, then concentration is said to be achieved. Means if our mind is scattered, is distracted by a lot of things, and if we are able to control our mind and set it to one focal point, then we say that concentration is achieved. Now, where is this focal point? The focal point can be in the center of forehead or navel, or a pointed shooting light at a distance. These are the places where the focal point can be presented. Dharana is the first step towards samadhi, means the first step towards samadhi is dharana. It is a mental exercise which enables a yogi to go ahead towards dhyan and samadhi. Means dharana is the first step for achieving samadhi, and it is also a mental exercise which we should perform to go towards dhyan and samadhi, which are the next elements of yoga, and these can be achieved only with the help of dharana. Dhyan. Dhyan is the second last element of yoga, and dhyan means the process of complete constancy of mind. Means when our brain, our mind is completely concentrated, then it is known as dhyan. And dhyan is the stage prior to samadhi. Samadhi is the last element of yoga, and it is dhyan is the stage or the element that is prior to the samadhi. Means if we are proficient in dhyan, then only we can proceed to samadhi. Dhyan remains attached to our life at every movement. Means generally we need dhyan, the element of yoga, at every movement of our life. Complete concentration of mind over a period of time without distraction is known as dhyan. Means if our mind is completely concentrated over a period of time, means for a fixed period of time, if our mind is completely concentrated without any kind of distraction, then it is known as dhyan. Samadhi. Samadhi is the last element of yoga which can be achieved after attaining the first 7 elements of yoga, after becoming proficient in those elements. The union of individual soul with the supreme soul, means when our soul unifies with the divine soul, it is known as samadhi, and this is the another name for samadhi, the checking or destruction of all impulses of mind. Now, when samadhi is attained, samadhi is basically attained when there is complete disappearance of self-awareness. When we are not aware of who we are, then samadhi takes place, and this is attained during the stage of dhyan only. You have to remember that. Now, what happens after attaining samadhi? After attaining samadhi, we begin to feel the real truth. We begin to feel the universal truth, which is the only truth in the world, and we forget about ourselves completely. We do not know who we are, and we begin to feel the divine pleasure, and that is known as samadhi. That's all for today. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.